Welcome to Joycast, and I'm your host, Joy in the Morning. Where here we take the time to get deep into what life has taught us through the ups and downs, the good and the not so good, and how through the power of God we are able to find the joy in it all. So join me as we challenge ourselves to take any situation life has given you and cast some joy on it. Good afternoon and welcome to Joycast, and I am your host, Joy in the Morning. And just wishing you a happy Monday. Hope you're enjoying the sun and the warmth. And I know that I am. I've had such a blessed day today already. And I couldn't wait to just come on, just dive into the message. And don't you know that I had a plan, I had a title, I had this whole agenda that I was going to talk about today. And in the midst of my morning, in my time with the Lord, it all of a sudden changed. And so I'm super duper excited to share. And before we get started, there's something that I want to add, and it's my little disclaimer for Joycast. And I wanted to say that I am not a licensed expert on anything that I'm going to share. It's literally my hands on experience of my life. And also, I wanted to add that I am not here to fix anyone. It's simply, again, to share and maybe to help someone going through something. And so that's my little disclaimer I wanted to start with today. And so today, my message has turned to something really fun, and we're about spreading joy. And I believe that this message is going to do just that. And the title of it is The Joy in Raising My Babies. And as I was driving around town today thinking about it, I just had this humongous smile on my face that my face even hurt after a while because I was just going back through all the years. And a lot of you don't know that I have 10 children. I was blessed. I was a super young mom. I have to paint a little picture for you. And I had my first child when I was 16 years old. And that baby, unfortunately, didn't make it. Um, had some birth defects, and we lost that one. But a year and 5 days later, I delivered my first son. And after that, they just came like every other year, there was a new baby. And so I have five sons and I have five daughters, and they range from their 40s, and my baby is 26 years old. And I have over 20 grandkids. And so when I was thinking about the message today and the joy of raising my children, sometimes when we're raising children, it doesn't seem very joyful because of everything that comes with it. And as I was driving around, I thought, man, I loved somebody told me over the week, boy, you sure love a lot of things, and I do. But I have to tell you that I loved being pregnant. I loved being in labor, as crazy as it sounds. And I loved having babies and raising them. I got to be a stay-at-home mom. And so my face was like the first face of the day for them and the last that they saw, at nighttime. And it wasn't easy. I have to add that. It was not easy. It came with some crazy times. Sometimes I look back and I don't even know how I got through raising 10 kids. And of course, I had help. Their father was, in our life. And again, as I was raising them, not every day was joyful. I remember there was a lot of screaming on my part, yelling a lot and crying a lot of tears came with it. But all in all, it was so amazing. And I have to say that I've done a lot of things in my life, but that has been my greatest accomplishment, was having my babies and taking care of them. I didn't depend on anybody to help me. I really didn't have family here in California. So as they were growing, I kind of just did it on my own, and um, had my church family that stepped in to help us at one point. But I look back now, and it was so fun getting them ready for. I was thinking about Halloween, and that was like one of our favorite holidays. Getting all their costumes together and going trick or treating with them, and Christmases were so amazing. And by far, we didn't have a whole lot of money. Our Christmases were sometimes rather poor. But to look back now, they were like some of our greatest times of our life. And now that they're adults and they're parents, we often sit around and we just go back, we reminisce a lot and think about the good old days, is what we call them. And I'm sure you're feeling what I did a lot of days, like, how are we going to do this? How will I ever get through? A lot of days they got on my nerves. And I'm sure I got on their nerves. And somebody asked me one time, like, how I did it. And I said, I always looked at them like having a garden of wildflowers. It's the only thing that could come to mind. And when I stopped to think about all 10 of them, even though they had the same parents, each one was different. They had their own personality, um, their own strengths, their weaknesses. They were all different, different shapes, different colors, different sizes. And I always looked at them as like a wild garden, a garden of wildflowers. And one of the things that I got to share with people is I never could treat them all the same. Disciplines were different. Some of them needed a little more discipline, when some of them hardly needed discipline. Some of them, I had to spank, and some of them never got spanked. And I look back now on my life and I think about all the years, all the trips I had to make, all the sports, all the school activities, just the different things that come with parenting. I mean, I have to say it was such a joy. It really was. And if I could do it over, I would definitely do it over. There's a lot of things that I would change as far as my parenting, because actually I didn't really have good role models to teach me how to be a parent. For me, it was basically just trial and error. And so when I think about it, those are some things that, if I could go back and change to be a better parent, I might do that. But all in all, I don't know. I'm really satisfied in how things turned out. And again, now that they're older, and how they love me, and the things that they say about their upbringing and how I was as a mom. And no, I was not a perfect mom. I was not a perfect mom. But the one thing that I can say is that I poured everything that I had inside of me, I poured out onto my kids. And when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, without thinking about it, I ultimately gave them what I longed for as a child, because my father, he passed away when I was 6, and I was never close to my mother. And so ultimately, the things that I wanted from my mother and didn't get, I poured that into my children. And that's one thing I tell them now is like, I couldn't take them a lot of places, couldn't take them on fancy vacations, couldn't take them shopping like I would love to have, or couldn't take them out to eat all the time. But the one thing that I did have and I poured in was all of me. And today, looking at them and the way that they raise their children, and I see how they pour all of themselves into their kids, it's just been such a blessing. And each pregnancy, every time I got pregnant, I was as excited as the first time. And I was thinking about every time I had a new baby, it was like they just stole my heart. And they were the loves of my life. And still today, as I think of each one of them, even thinking about them right now, man, it's been the greatest, the best thing that I've ever done. And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful that God allowed me to be able to bring that many children into this world. And I tell people that was my purpose for life, was to be a mom. And as I was raising them, it wasn't just my kids, it was so many other people's kids that, that I got to pour into their life. And I never really looked at it as a job, as more as I was blessed and honored to be able to raise all of these precious human beings. And so if you follow me on Facebook, you probably see that I post a lot of pictures of our family. We have a entire tribe. And as I get older, I just appreciate them so much. And I appreciate the time that God gave me and what He, how Holy Spirit just led me. Because again, I didn't have good examples of how to parent. Nobody ever taught me how. And again, it's just been the best. I have to say, it's been the best part of my life. And so if you're a parent and you're struggling, I promise you this, that you will get through. And there will come this day where they will just honor you, and they will just pour back the love that you poured into them. It's like they pour it right back on you. And that's my experience with my kids, is now the way that they honor me is just such a blessing. And I never did it for that, but that's the outcome. And so I know it's I know it's a lot. I know it's hard. A lot of us say there was never no manual, no instruction book on how to raise kids. And a lot of it is trial and error. And that's my message today, is the joy of raising my kids and not looking at it like it was a punishment or a job. It's been such a blessing. And not sure if this makes sense today, but I really wanted to share it. I know that parents are struggling, especially today, raising kids. It's so different than when I even raised them. So if there's ever a time when you want to ask me a question about raising kids and how I got through it, how to stay sane, feel free in your comments, message me. We can always talk about it. I can encourage you and pray with you on parenting and how to change the narrative, how to change the perspective from it being a job to being a blessing, and finding the joy in being a parent. And that's it. That's what I have for you today. If you're listening, I want to just say thank you for tuning in. Hope this helps someone. And yeah, feel free to message me. And until Monday, I have my topic lined up for next Monday. And I think I'm going to have a guest, which will be fun and different. And I just want to wish you a good day and a good week. And yeah, just wishing you a good day. And I love you. Thanks again for tuning in to Joycast. And we shall talk soon. This is Joy. God bless you.